What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Countdown Scouting Network. I'm your host, Joey Garcia, and today we're getting into the Arizona Cardinals. So let's get started. With their first pick, it was the sixth overall pick. They got Paris Johnson Jr., the tackle out of Ohio State. He played right, I think he played right guard for a little bit and then kicked out the tackle this year. 6'6", 315 pounds, and he's a very raw athlete. He's very, very good. I've heard interviews with him talking with Taylor Lewan, and he talks football and he seems very intellectual about football. He has really good feet. He controls his body really well, but hand striking is going to be the issue at the next level. Um, excuse me. So that's something that's going to be needed as well as getting in the weight room a little bit more. He is young. I think he's 21 years old. So his body needs to develop a little bit more. He needs to get more instinctual on when he needs to throw his punches and also when he needs to sink his hips a little bit. But all in all, I really like this. This was my OT1. I like Broderick Jones a lot, but Paris Johnson was my guy. So we'll go ahead and go to the next one. This next one, second round pick 41. They got BJ Ojolari. I was surprised. I thought BJ would go in the first round. He's an edge rusher from LSU. He's 6'2", 250 pounds. And he's a really, really athletic edge rusher. If you remember his brother, Aziz Ojolari, he was a Georgia guy. He got drafted by the Giants, I believe, a couple years ago. So it runs in the family. They're a very athletic family. He's really good pass rusher. He's got leadership. He's got energy that you want on that defensive line. His arms are a little shorter than you would like, but he's a very, very good pass rusher who maybe needs to work a little bit harder at developing his anchor points a little bit more, just being able to sit down and read and react in the run game. That's about the only negative I have for him. I have a first round grade on him and I like him a lot. So gave this one a B plus. Going to their third round pick 72, Garrett Williams. I gave this an A. He is 5'10" corner from Syracuse. He's 195 pounds, really long arms. For being 5'10", he's got arms like he's 6'1". So that's the height's not a big issue for me. The only issue I really have with him is his injury history. I believe he was injured for the entire year last year. Maybe he played in one game or two games, but he was injured for the majority of the year, and I think that's why he was a third round pick. If not, I think he would have been up there with the Deontay Banks, who went to the Giants at pick 24. I think he'd be up there in that range. And Joey Porter Jr., who went at pick 32 to the Steelers. So he would have been up there in that kind of range. Instead, he falls to this pick. I think the Arizona Cardinals are saying thank you very much. And yeah, he's a very good zone corner. He's super physical. Again, he's got long arms. His man skills are okay. He has trouble locating the ball when he's playing man. That's his big issue with that. Other than that, he's pretty good at both. So I think he'll start day one, and I think that he's a guy. He's gonna have to get my issue is he's not gonna get very many interceptions when they're playing zone. So I want to say he's up there for defensive rookie of the year, but I'll hold off on that. This might be one of my dark horses for defensive rookie of the year. Another third round pick. They got Michael Wilson, the wide receiver out of Stanford. He's a big body wide receiver. He's also an older prospect. I gave it a C minus. He has some injury history, but when he's not injured, his height weight speed ratio is elite. It's what you want for a corner, or excuse me, for a wide receiver. He's got good run after catch, and he's got good hands. He needs a little bit more time developing his route running and also being able to beat press. It's just a release package you'll have to work on at the next level because against these corners you'll have a hard time with it. But everything else, as long as you have injuries turned off, he's going to be a really good wide receiver for you. um, all right, fourth round pick. They got John Gaines the second. He's an interior offensive lineman from UCLA, 6'4", 305 pounds. So his feet really, really good. His lower body is pretty good, other than just his functional strength of being able to sit down and anchor. That would be his one big thing. He's not strong in his lower body. He's quick in his lower body, I guess is what you would say. He doesn't really have any power in the run game, but he moves well. And he also, again, a lot of these guys coming out nowadays struggle with hand punching. And again, he's another one of those guys that struggles with hand punching. It's not as big of an issue with him playing inside at guard, but it is some bit of a concern, just something else that needs to be developed. I think he's an okay offensive lineman. He's going to be a shield blocker for you, which is an adequate blocker. So basically, I think he's probably a depth piece that might be able to step in for a couple games. The next pick, I gave it a C plus. I wanted to give it more because I really like Clayton Tune, quarterback out of Houston, but I there were a couple quarterbacks that were still on the board that I liked better, especially for this system. Jaron Hall was one of them who ended up going to Minnesota, but he's 6'3", 220 pounds, and he's got good mobility. He doesn't have great mobility. Think of like a Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence type mobility, where he can just kind of maneuver the pocket, get outside to be able to create more, but he's not going to do anything with his feet running by any means. He's got NFL size nowadays, and his accuracy from within 20 yards is good. Yes, he struggles with accuracy downfield. He also doesn't have a great arm for it. He's kind of has like a Kyle Trask arm, I would say. That's kind of what he reminds me of, is Kyle Trask in that aspect of accuracy underneath. Deep ball is kind of and his arm strength, everything comes out like a lob. There's not really a lot of power or zip into it, and he's not that accurate from downfield. But as your QB2, as someone who's going to be battling for the starting job while Kyler Murray is down, I think this is an interesting pick, but in the 5th round, you can't hurt. All right. In the 6th round, they got Owen Pappoe from Auburn. He's a linebacker / edge a little bit. He is a B plus, is what I ended up giving him. He's 6 foot tall, 225 pounds, but he's built. He's jacked. Super athletic, very good coverage guy. He's already a special teams ace, which is going to help him make this roster. I think he's going to be better as a pro. He didn't have very good coaching at Auburn. He struggles with deconstructing on blocks, and he triggers late against the run, but in space, very good. As a special teamer, very good. So he found a niche, as a third down coverage linebacker, maybe someone who can get on the edge a little bit and blitz from the edge. He's not going to be able to blitz from A-gap to A-gap. That's going to be an issue. But he's going to be an outside linebacker who can blitz, play zone, play coverage, and play special teams. So I think he ends up making the roster. Another guy who I really, really like, Keitrell Clark, the defensive back from Louisville. I gave it an A+. I'm very surprised he made it out of the 3rd round, let alone made it all the way to day 3 in the 6th round. So he's 5'10", 180 pounds. He's only an outside corner. So maybe that's why I don't think he can play inside. But he's super competitive. He's got versatility in the coverages that he can do. So he's good in man or zone. He can play different kinds of zones. He's comfortable playing all that, and he's super instinctual. So this is a guy who, yes, is it going to be an issue putting him up against bigger wide receivers? Yes, but he is a guy who you can kind of work on. Basically, I would say if the guy is 6'1", 200 pounds or less, that's a wide receiver he can go on, and he would just completely lock down that side of the field and that guy. So you have to be smart about who you play him against. But I think this is a guy who can match up with 75% of the wide receivers in the league and not have an issue. So another 6th round pick that I gave a B. I think I like their day 3 picks a lot. Dante Stills, the defensive tackle from West Virginia, 6'4", 290 pounds, very good agility laterally. He's got a very good first step. His functional strength is going to be one of his things. So he's a guy that can move from side to side and get into gaps, more of a gap penetrator. He's not going to be able to hold up offensive linemen and try to read and react. That's not going to be something he can do. But he's a gap penetrator, and in the 6th round, you get a guy that can fill a specific role for you. I like this pick. And that is their last pick. So the next one we have to finish out the NFC West will be the Los Angeles Rams. I believe they have 14 or 15 picks. They have something ridiculous like that. So that's going to be a longer episode. Go ahead and leave a like on this one. Comment down below if you disagree with some of my takes today. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.